Definitely a good Friday. I don't know a bad Friday. Do you know a bad Friday? Because I certainly
Well,
don't.
I know. Guys, on the other side of these 10 seconds, we have a special guest who's going to be joining us to talk about the impact of COVID on the restaurant industry, the last 13 months, the living hell and misery he has gone through, and he's going to give us insight into the reality that the media is not really sharing with you. Stuart, give us our 10-second countdown. Everybody, welcome back. Stuart, why don't you help us introduce us to our guest today?
So, people were asking and writing and saying that, it's just Dave and I, and we're just ranting away. And so, as we're trying to get this little project experiment moved further along, we decided to bring in a guest. And today we're bringing you John from Timo's Restaurant in Sunny Isles Beach, Florida, who has volunteered to join the rant to talk about all the things that the restaurant industry has gone through over the last year and a month. And John is on the ground in South Florida, who has had to deal with all of the nuances of what is COVID-19 in the restaurant business. Where is the restaurant business going? But let's start off with where we started from. So, John, let's flash back. Hi, thank you for joining us. What
What's up,
happened
guys?
a year ago, March 20th, approximately? What happened?
March 17th actually was our first day that we shut down. We were originally gonna close altogether, thinking that this was gonna go by fast, I guess. So we shut down for 2 weeks. Then we realized that this was not going to be a quick, let's shut down, get this over with, and get back to business. And then 2 weeks later, realized, hey, we still need to pay rent. And we're not really a restaurant that is for to go. So we contacted about 250 customers, going through our open table, getting their phone numbers, getting their emails, and we developed special menus that would be able to travel. So we did that for about a month and a half. We contacted these customers, sent them the updated email. Sorry you weren't one of them, Stuart, but I didn't. You already knew. But we emailed menus out every Tuesday, had specific ordering times for Friday, Saturday, Sunday pickups, so that the food would be as fresh as possible, because our food, again, isn't really to-go food.
No.
We did that for a month and a half, and then we were allowed to reopen for indoor service with your whole 6 feet social distancing, following all rules, precautions, bought the precautions that they told us to follow. And then about 6 weeks later, after following those, they shut down indoor dining and said outdoor dining. Needless to say, we were very, very upset with that. So we went over to the commissioners for Sunny Isles Beach. We spoke to them briefly about it. And 2 weeks later, we were actually able to reopen the inside of the restaurant. And since then, as people have been becoming more and more comfortable with eating indoors, we've introduced more and more tables inside. And as of right now, we are at 100% capacity and loving the feedback that we are getting from everybody. Some people, obviously.
Before David, you get there, I got a question for you. So 2020, what percentage was your business down?
I would say about 75% business.
So a business that lost 75% of their revenue, but you still had to pay all your bills. You still had to pay all of your supplies, right? How much did you throw in the garbage? How much food went to waste?
Actually, none of our food went to waste. In the beginning, we had our fully stocked refrigerators, and we actually gave it away for the first month. Every single one of our employees who we were hoping would just stay on board, we would have family meals 3 times a week, where all of our employees could come in, grab their to-go containers, fill it up with food, so at least they would be able to save some money off of their groceries, and take food home to their families while we weren't able to open. Yes, we still employed, let's say 10 people during that time. half a dozen chefs, half a dozen front of the house. But yeah, none of it actually went to waste or thrown away. It was all used.
So,
Well, that's
Jonathan,
good,
let, let
Dave.
me let me ask you a question, because I got to tell you, there's a difference between you being further south and the north. And here in Canada, restaurants are still closed, only takeout. There has been very little to no indoor service, and your numbers that we're talking about here are also still in the high percentages of 70-80% loss of revenue. Many restaurants have closed down for good. They
Mm.
cannot survive. What have you seen in what could we have done differently in your opinion? Like, really, where did we go? Where did we go right? Where did it go really, really wrong?
Um, you're not going to like it, but just say no. If everybody says no at the same time, the government can't do anything to stop you. I get this. I get customers right now, nowadays, with everybody coming over from California, coming down from New York, New Jersey, Chicago. They're all saying this is amazing. Why don't we have this there? Well, we obviously we were fortunate enough to uh, have a certain government, but down here in Dade and Broward, they were trying to put on these strict measures, and we basically just said no. Kind of the same way that New Jersey gym owner did. He said no, but not many people followed.
So, let me put it to you this way. Let me play the role of devil's advocate here, because people are going to say to you, going, "Hey, saying no will cause all these spreads and diseases and COVID cases." Did you have any COVID cases in your restaurant?
We did have a couple. They stayed home, all asymptomatic, and um, and then they came back to work.
Your
But that
servers, did everybody take the proper protection while serving the clientele?
everybody, even now, not having any mask mandates, every single server, every single staff member still wears a mask.
So basically,
So there's no one
you
second.
take so hold on a second. You take the basic precautions, is what you're saying,
Yeah.
which is normal, everyday, standard, basic precautions. We're not, wash your hands, wear a mask, keep somewhat distant, and everybody's healthy. Everybody's fine.
Well, shouldn't you be washing your hands anyways? Isn't that something that you're supposed to be taught from a child?
Absolutely,
Don't don't
absolutely.
Hey,
don't touch your
clinically,
face.
clinically, the advice that's being given is the advice they gave us in grade two, grade
Yeah.
one.
So,
I mean, this
so,
is
so,
just ridiculous.
so, John, if that's the case, did the government at like the different levels of government overreact, misread this whole thing completely? I mean, are
I
restaurants closing because the government panicked?
Well, it's not just restaurants too, but yes, the government panicked because I believe if you've changed the rules so many times with this that it comes to a point where you don't know what you're dealing with, and if you don't know what you're dealing with, you shouldn't react to it until you know what you're dealing with. I
Hmm.
know it's kind of naive to think that way, but I mean, what else is there? You have to know how to attack it. You have to know what the problem is and how that problem is affecting you before you say, okay, this is what we're going to do to attack the problem. And then now we're going back to, you know, the debate of, is this whole pandemic real or is it a scamdemic? Or yes, people are dying, but I don't know if I should really get into.
Well, we're
Yeah.
gonna. I don't want to get into this, because then Facebook is gonna shut us down as being a bunch of like conspiracy theorists. But for John, for when I look at I look at restaurants, and I've talked to a few restaurant owners, and they're just like you said, they restructured their whole business, and they're saying that the government isn't, with all these losses, the government is not helping them enough right now financially to get through this to be able to reopen. Do you find would it like how would what would you ask today of the different levels of government to help rebuild the restaurant industry?
Get out of our way. Simple. I mean,
You know,
yes, the
yeah,
government, the paycheck protection program did help. Don't get me wrong. It covered our rent for 1 month, 1.5 months. It covered some of our salaried employees for, I believe, 2 months. But you're you're the one that caused this, and you're giving us back our money that we paid you. So, in my opinion, it's all about self-responsibility. Be responsible for yourself. Get out of my way.
I got a question on that topic of employees. How is the labor pool? With that, people are getting so much money to stay at home.
Yeah.
What exactly, like, are you able to get staff to work at your restaurant?
I'll give you an example. We just put up an ad on Craigslist to try and get some more employees. Normally, whenever we put up an ad, we'd have 40 responses within the first 24 hours. We have had I believe it's been up for a week, one response. One response.
So you're telling me you can't get busboys then? You can't get dishwashers? And if it wasn't that, the restaurant was primarily catered by people that have actually been there a long time, you have no labor.
Well, we're fortunate that we have every single one of our staff members has been there for, at this point, a minimum of 5 years. All of our front of the house staff, everybody all the customers that come in the Timo know every single one of the front of the house by name. We know,
but the back of the house, you can't. It's great to have a front of the house. We know your face, but
yeah.
If there's no one cleaning the dishes in the back, it's a problem, right?
It is. It is an issue.
So, are you saying that the local government is, just encouraging people to stay home, or the state government, or who? I don't know the tier. I know what it's like here in Canada. I can't say what it's like in your area, but like, are they really encouraging them to stay home that much?
I'm not going to go ahead and blame the local government for it. I'm going to blame federal government all the way from the beginning, because our state unemployment rate is unsustainable for you to have without going to work. You can't live off of. I believe here it's $275 a week, but with the added PPP from the government, you're now increasing that another $300, $400, $500. I think it was the highest it was an extra $600 a week. So at one point in time, people were getting paid $3,500 a month to stay home.
That's outrageous.
Well, hang on a second. I got to give you a statistic. Hang on a second, David. Florida's seasonal adjusted unemployment rate is right now, as of January 2021, 4.8%. That's up 1.5% from a year ago, which was 6.3%. So what's kind of really, really interesting is, in 2020, it was 7.7%, right? So I find the numbers in Florida interesting, because if unemployment's only like between 4 and 7%, I mean, that's pretty atypical for a minor recession, right? But how many people do you have out of work? And that's still what it is. I think that's amazing.
Isn't that also declared unemployed? I mean, if you don't want to go to work, you just undeclare yourself. I don't know how that works, but to me, what I hear, John, is that you've got, like, it's a fascinating thing that, COVID is teaching people to be lazy. Don't go to work. Wait for the government to hand out the money. Is this
exactly?
I mean, this is a frightening thought.
It is.
Dependent. That's what the government wants.
So the government wants us to stay at home, just leave our hand out like this, and say, pay me, clothe me, pay my medical bills, and I'm going to sit at home and do nothing.
We got 60 seconds, David. So, John, give me the nutshell. 30 seconds. I'm going to give you 30 seconds. Who has helped you the most? Who has helped you the least? Give me 30 seconds.
Who has helped us the most? We have helped ourselves, and that's what I encourage everybody to do. I'm sorry. Get out of my way, and just let everybody do their thing. If you need to protect yourself because you are at risk, protect yourself. If you don't have to, I'm sorry, live your life. Life is too short to be afraid of living, to stay in your home and not live.
So David, do you have a question? Because you got 20 seconds. What do you got?
No, I really don't have any questions, but I got to tell John, Timo Restaurant and Bar, give us quickly, where are you located? Let's give everybody a chance to come by and have a meal.
17624 Collins Avenue. I'm I'll give it to all your listeners as well, because I give it to everybody anyways. My cell phone number, if you want a reservation, 786-587-7278.
Guys, you know what? We only had 15 minutes, and we thank John. Really appreciate you coming and joining us today and giving us an insight over something that we really get frustrated. And as thanks to the person just posted on our chat, absolutely, we need to support our local businesses. This isn't about forget about Open Table and Uber Eats and all that. Support your next door neighbor, support your local restaurant, support your local businesses today. Stuart,
And
you got the
order
last word. And
order
order.
takeout. Order takeout, not Uber Eats. Uber Eats takes 30%.
30%. Wow.
Wow.
You know,
Okay.
talk about getting a full meal. Guys,
Yeah.
it's that time, David. 1548. Say
Thank
goodbye.
you. Thank you all very much. Hey, John, once again, thank you very much for joining us. Really appreciate the insight. Folks, we are back on Monday as usual, wishing everybody a wonderful Easter and Passover weekend. We look forward to everybody back on Monday. Check us out on our Facebook page Sunday night for the topic that we're going to have on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, noon Eastern. Thank you all very much. Have a great weekend. Stuart?
Chag Sameach, guys.
Let's
See you. Take care, guys. Thanks, John. David,
thanks.
end
Bye.
the stream.